One of the greatest things about most Republicans no longer being afraid of Donald Trump is that these people are no longer afraid to speak their minds. And that, of course, includes former Mike Pence Chief of Staff, Marc Short. Over the weekend, Marc Short, during one of these Sunday morning political talk shows, said that Donald Trump, since losing the 2020 election, has descended further and further into, quote, the heart of darkness. And specifically, what Mr. Short was referring to was last Tuesday's dinner that Donald Trump had with Kanye West and Nick Fuentez, a scandal that is still rocking Donald Trump's political world in a very bad way. So, Marc Short goes on CNN's State of the Union on Sunday, and this is what he says. Ever since the election in 2020, I think the former president's descended deeper into the heart of darkness here. I think it's a big challenge and another reason Republicans are looking in a different direction in 2024. He also reminded, actually the CNN host reminded Short about the fact that Donald Trump's supporters were carrying Nazi flags and chanting "Jews will not replace us" during the Charlottesville rally where Donald Trump said there's good people on both sides. So it's not just since 2020 the CNN host was trying to point out to Marc Short. It's pretty much been since day one. Since he first came onto the political scene, Donald Trump has been an absolutely abhorrent human being. And all that's happened since then is that he no longer feels the need to hide it. You know, I mentioned over at Ring of Fire that earlier this year, Marjorie Taylor Greene, got her behind handed to her after going to an event hosted by Nick Fuentez. So Donald Trump's claims that he didn't know who Nick Fuentez was, not to mention the fact that the Secret Service is supposed to be screening every single individual that gets even close to Donald Trump, I don't buy it for a second. Like, there's no possible way you didn't know. There's no way the Secret Service didn't know, and there's no way that your aides didn't know. Somebody had to have told you who this lunatic was. You just chose to not answer. And of course, the Fuentez dust-up here is really just the latest in Donald Trump's, as Marc Short put it, descent deeper into the heart of darkness. We have seen Donald Trump since 2020 push election conspiracy after election conspiracy, all of which, by the way, have been wildly debunked multiple times. He has, of course, lashed out at prosecutors, lashed out at investigators, attacked the FBI, he's attacked the military, he's attacked pretty much every single person that doesn't fall lockstep into Trump world. And yes, it has gotten more extreme since he burst onto the political scene. But to say that really it only started after the 2020 election, that's being intentionally dishonest. And Marc Short, of course, has a reason to be intentionally dishonest here, because he was the former chief of staff to the then Vice President Mike Pence, who pretty much everybody agrees is probably mulling a presidential run of his own. So Marc Short doesn't want his guy, Mike Pence, to be associated with this lunatic Donald Trump, but the damage is done. So whatever kind of, Trump's too radical now, that's why we're looking elsewhere to help your former boss, that's not gonna help. Mike Pence is already tied at the hip with Donald Trump. He may not have gone on, with his crazy scheme to steal the election, but he was right there for literally every other piece of that administration. All the horrible things Trump did, all the COVID denial, Mike Pence was right there with him. You cannot separate the two, no matter how many appearances you get on CNN where they barely push back against anything you say. Yes, Trump is going deeper into the heart of darkness, but let's be honest. He pretty much already had a residency there. He's just now made it his permanent home. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel? We also encourage you to like, comment, and share, but again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.